Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AFPC Reenlistments webcast on the Non-Commissioned Officer Career Status Program, formerly Indefinite Reenlistments. I'm Senior Airman Zachary, and I will be your host. If you have any questions, please hold them until the end of the presentation, as our functional experts will be answering your text questions live. The NCO Career Status Program provides a cost-effective way for the Air Force to modernize. It streamlines the administrative process, optimizes the use of your time by eliminating the need for future contracts, and alleviates potential pay issues due to no PDS DGEMS interfaces. Once executed, this contract will be your last contract and will take you to retirement. The NCO Career Status Program does not impact selective retention bonuses, and the airmen on a NCO Career Status contract or reenlisting into the NCO Career Program remain eligible for any authorized selective retention bonus. This program also does not change or eliminate any active duty service commitments or change the retirement eligibility or retirement process. The NCO Career Status Program does not convert any current contracts, and airmen reenlist into the program. Airmen who have served at least 12 years of service will reenlist into the NCO Career Status Program, and once eligible, you will not be able to opt out of an NCO Career Status contract. Likewise, airmen with less than 12 years of service are not eligible for this program. The NCO Career Status Program is not a reason to reenlist, and the current reenlistment eligibility rules will apply. This means you must be within 90 days of ETS or have a service-directed reason to reenlist. Effective 18 November 2019, airmen with at least 12 years of service, to include those with approved waivers, who are selected for continued service under the Selective Reenlistment Program, will be reenlisted under the NCO Career Status Program. Airmen executing the unspecified contract serve up to their high year of tenure of current grade, or if promoted, projected grade, unless sooner separate by Air Force policy or law. Airmen who serve 20 or more years of service may retire, if otherwise eligible, no later than the first day of the month following high year of tenure. Again, no current contract will convert into the NCO Career Status Program. This means if you reenlisted prior to 18 November 2019, that contract remains firm. You will not reenlist into the NCO Career Status Program until your next reenlistment. Airmen reenlisting into the NCO Career Status Program may so leave with the reenlistment or at separation or retirement. Basically, eligible airmen execute their last contract to 20 plus years or retirement and are managed similar to officers. Airmen executing a NCO Career Status contract and airmen serving on an NCO Career Status contract will remain eligible for any bonus as they are today. The same bonus rules will apply. You can only get a selective retention bonus one time in a zone. The rules about double dipping haven't changed. If the airman is eligible to reenlist and eligible for a selective retention bonus in a different zone and have 12 plus years of service, they would execute a career status contract. If they are already on a career status contract and become eligible for a selective retention bonus in a different zone again, AFPC will notify them of that eligibility and they would apply online via MyPERS. It will be important for you to respond to the selective retention bonus eligibility notices. Airmen reenlisting into the NCO Career Status Program and who are eligible for a bonus will have their bonus documented on the Air Force Form 901, just as we do today. These airmen will select the number of whole years and active duty service commitment they would like to be obligated to, not to exceed their high year of tenure. The bonus payment and calculations remain the same as they are today. Selective reenlistment program consideration remains in play under the NCO Career Status Program. This means the commander or civilian director retains the right to deny any reenlistment, to include a reenlistment into the NCO Career Status Program, and the impact remains the same as it does today. Airmen denied reenlistment may appeal that decision, and the appeal authority also remains the same. Airmen denied reenlistment separate on their current date of separation. Airmen serving on an NCO career status contract may be denied continued service, and this decision has the same impact as being denied reenlistment. Airmen denied continued service are not promotion eligible and will separate at the high year of tenure for current grade held. Airmen who served 20 years may retire on the first day of the month following high year of tenure. Airmen denied continued service may appeal that decision, and the appeal authority remains the same as it is today. Airmen on a NCO career status contract as of the assignment selection date will receive an Air Force Form 63 to accept or decline the PCS active duty service commitment, similar to the process used today for officers. Airmen may be required to complete the assignment or deployment if they have an active duty service commitment. If they do not have an active duty service commitment and choose to decline an assignment or 365-day TDY, they must apply to separate or, if eligible, to retire. The 7-day and 3-day option will apply for assignment and deployments respectively. Airmen declining the active duty service commitment should seek career counseling before electing to do so. The retirement process does not change. Airmen on an NCO career status contract with 20 or more years of service and who desire to retire must request retirement. Airmen must also have completed all active duty service commitments prior to the desired retirement date. Airmen may not be pending adverse action or be under a MEB or PEB evaluation. Applications for retirement may be submitted no earlier than 12 months and no later than 4 months in advance of the desired retirement date. Airmen on a NCO career status contract may request separation at any time as long as they are not pending any adverse actions. Requests for separation must be submitted no earlier than 12 months and no later than 180 days in advance of the desired separation effective date. Airmen may request a waiver for dates earlier than 180 days. However, you should not make any irrevocable commitments until approved. Airmen with an active duty service commitment that expires later than the requested date of separation will need to submit a waiver request endorsed by the unit commander with justification. Airmen applying for hardship or pregnancy separations do not have to request a separation date at least 180 days out, nor include a waiver. All requests for separations are approved by AFPC. Once approved for separation, airmen will be separated on that date without further reconsideration. Promotions-related active duty service commitments remain unchanged under the NCO Career Status Program. Airmen selected for Master, Senior, or Chief Master Sergeant will continue to complete the Air Force Form 63 or promotion statement of understanding within 10 duty days after selections are announced or confirmed. Selects who have already re-enlisted into the NCO Career Status Program do not require additional retainability for the promotion. Selects who are not serving in the NCO Career Status Program may need additional retainability. If eligible, the select would then re-enlist into the NCO Career Status Program. The NCO Career Status Program recognizes career airmen's professionalism and dedication to the Air Force and understands their continued service as evidence of a personal commitment not dependent on the renewal of paperwork. It streamlines administrative processes, alleviates the administrative demand on airmen by eliminating the need for future reenlistments. Thank you for your time. We will now move into the questions and answers portion for the remainder of our time.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to type your questions. Please type your questions in the chat area, and Mr. McLaughlin will answer your questions live today.
First question we have here from Sergeant Watts. When are you able to sell leave with the new program? Airmen re-enlisting into the NCO Career Status Program may sell leave in conjunction with that re-enlistment. Otherwise, they will sell leave upon separation or retirement. So leave sale does not change when you re-enlist with the NCO Career Status Program. Next question from Sergeant Winclaw. Does a Master Sergeant with 17 years of service have to do anything, or is this automatic? The non-commissioned officer career status program is not automatic. Airmen must re-enlist into the program. So if you're serving at 17 years and you need to renew your contract, you'll then execute an indefinite contract, which will take you to 20 years and up to your retirement date. So once again, airmen will have to re-enlist. It is not automatic. Next question from Sergeant French. Can we complete our final re-enlistment at any time if we are past 12 years of service? Unfortunately, not. In order to re-enlist, the rules remain the same as they do today. You must have a service-directed reason or be within 90 days of ETS. So once you are within those 90 days or have a service-directed reason, such as an assignment, that is when you'll execute that last and final contract. Do you have any questions from Facebook?
Yes. So Douglas Braden asks, sorry, I missed if there is any policy change on selling back leave.
No, there's no policy change in selling back leave. Please keep in mind that this is your last re-enlistment, so you need to either sell leave there. If you don't sell it there, then you'll sell it at separation or retirement.
Bradford Shanahan wants to know, if we have more than 19 years, will we be required to re-enlist into this program?
Bradford, yes, you would have to re-enlist into the program if you have more than 19. Several factors are included in that. A, you would need to re-enlist to get to 20 or beyond. Secondly, you may get promoted and stay longer than that. So once you hit 19 or whatever years it may be, that contract that you re-enlist for will be an indefinite contract. Next question from over here from Sergeant Sigmund. Can we begin drafting, signing, routine routing NCO 901s prior to 18 November? Yes, you can draft a FSA Form 901 prior to 18 November, but the re-enlistment must be on or after 18 November. Please keep in mind that the 901 is valid for 30 days, so doing one today is good. You just cannot use the indefinite reason unless the airman is re-enlisting on or after 18 November. Another question from Sergeant Blake. What if a member has already enlisted and took them out to 19 years? Will that person need to re-enlist again when they hit 19? Yes, they will need to re-enlist again when they hit 19, unless they have applied for retirement and able to extend to reach that retirement effective date. So depending on the airman's intentions, they may have to re-enlist. If they have applied for retirement and they can extend, they are able to do so, and that'll carry them out to that retirement effective date.
David Thompson asks, for airmen denied reenlistment, will they remain ineligible for assignment? And what are they appealing if they are allowed to stay until HYT?
David, yes. So if you are denied reenlistment, then basically you're not going to be reenlisting into the career status program. You will be separated on your current date of separation unless your appeal authority says otherwise. Okay, so if you're in the program and you denied continued service, it has the same effect. You're not promotion eligible, so you will stay to your current higher tenure. So you're really not being denied much as far as continued service. You just can't go beyond your current higher tenure. So if your higher tenure is, say, 20 for a staff, that'll be where you will retire at unless the commander takes further action. You just wouldn't be able to go to tech and stay at 22. That's the way that process would work.
Sean Carr asks, for those under BRS, do we re-enlist under this indefinite enlistment, but still have the 4 years retainability to get the continuation bonus?
BRS doesn't have any impact necessarily on this program. So if you're re-enlisting at 12 and it's for BRS as your service-directed reason, then it'll be a combination of both. So you'll be re-enlisting and getting retainability for BRS. And if you're at 12 or more, then yes, that would be an indefinite contract as well. Couple of questions on this side. Sergeant Cook asked, so does the NCO career status program, will it no longer allow members to extend to meet needed criteria? The reasons to extend remain in play. So please keep in mind that airmen only have 48 months of extensions. So if they are able to extend and elect not to re-enlist at that time, they may do so. But if they're unable to meet the retainability requirement via an extension and they have to re-enlist, it will be under the career status program. Next question is from Amron Little. For the DD Form 4, you were just typing unspecified in the year section. That is correct. If you look at the in guidance, it says for indefinite reenlistments, you type in unspecified in the years. So further information on that can be found in the PSDM.
I'm going to answer some more questions from Facebook Live. Amber Blake asked, if you turn down an assignment and decide not to obtain active duty service commitment for that assignment, and this active duty service commitment would force you over 20 years, do you have to apply to separate, or are you safe to your higher tenure?
Ooh, Amber, that's a good one. I will definitely look into that. The rules for the assignment piece are very, not say finicky, but we want to make sure we give you the right information. So we will send you a direct email back on that and post that response into my purge. That's going to require me to look up some rule sets for the retirement process.
Another question from Facebook. Doug Ash asked, do career status airmen still fill a 4-year increments? For example, can a career status airman leave whenever they want? Okay,
Doug. So if you're reenlisting under the career status program, you're reenlisting for indefinite. So that's going to take that last contract and take you all the way out to 20 years or more. So you don't have to do a minimum of 4. If you do apply for separation later after executing that contract, once approved, and once the separation has been validated, that'll end that contract, whether it's 4 years, 6, or 8 years later. A couple questions here from the DCS side of the house. Aaron Marks asked, how will this program affect jumps? It does not affect jumps at all. The typical reenlistment process will apply here, but if you're from the MPF side of the house in career development, your update of the reenlistment into the pay file is different. The guidance for that is also listed in the PSDM, so you need to make sure that you're following that. Another question from Carlton Vincent, will the 901 be used prior to the DD Form 4? Yes, 901 is always used prior to the DD Form 4. You must have an approved authorization to reenlist before executing a reenlistment. So the 901 must be documented and signed by the commander or civilian director prior to processing a reenlistment under the DD Form 4.
Some more questions from Facebook. Jerome Bryant Jr. asks, I am a technical sergeant, just reenlisted in October, and my DOS pushes me out to 19 years and 10 months. will I automatically be moved to the career status program to finish out my time up to 22 years?
Jerome, no, you will not. You'll be out to 19 years and 10 months, so you will either need to apply for retirement at that time and then extend to 20 years or more, or you can re-enlist depending on what your intentions are beyond 19 years and 10 months. So if you're looking to stay to your higher tenure for tech, which is 22, then you'll be re-enlisting and then taking that out to 22 years or more if you're promoted again. So you will not be automatically rolled over into the career status program. You will have to re-enlist to do so.
Emily Johnson asks, if your service commitment goes to 18 years, do you just sign the Form 63 to add the rest of the commitment? Can the commander deny the adding of the commitment?
Typically not 18 years or so. You're probably in the sanctuary area. So the commitment is something that you're taking because you're already on a indefinite contract. So either you're accepting the retainability for the assignment or you're not taking the retainability assignment. The commander in this instance would not be denying you the ADSC. The commander can take other actions that may impact the assignment, which would then affect the ADSC for that. A couple of questions here from Tech Sergeant Shelmer. Are REs for a SOB no longer limited to 6 years? They remain limited to 6 years. So if you look in the program guidance here, the maximum term a NCO career status program airman may elect is 6 years. The minimum is 3. So the normal SRB calculations will also apply. So the max of 6 still applies under this program. Next question from Tech Sergeant Wilkerson. For everyone who have more than 20 years of service, will they be re-enlisted or are the dates automatically updated? Once again, this program does not convert any contract, so you will have to re-enlist if you have more than 12 at your date of separation, or prior to that if you have a service-directed reason, and that contract will be your indefinite contract and your last contract with the Air Force to take you to retirement. So again, nothing is updated automatically. You'll have to re-enlist into the program.
Going back to Facebook questions, Michael Rayner asks, if you accepted a 2-year active duty service commitment at 18 and a half years, can you still retire effective on your original 20-year date?
Yes, you may be able to retire, but please keep in mind, if you accepted a 2-year ADSC at 18 and a half years, that means 20 and a half is when the ADSC will expire. So that'll be a retirement decision depending on other factors, but typically you may not. They may defer that until you've completed the active duty service commitment for that 2-year agreement.
Bill Griggs asks, transfer of education benefits. Once they're in the CSP, how will that affect retainability?
Good question. It does not affect it because if you're already in the CSP program and you apply for TEB, you already have the retainability, so you'll just sign the statement of understanding and your TEB approved basically as soon as that SOU is filed with the service center and your application is complete. No additional retainability would be required. Question from Sergeant Pritchett here. If an unspecified contract needs to be reconstructed, what do you put in the remarks, unspecified or reconstructed? You will put in unspecified for that. Hopefully we don't have to have any reconstructed contracts in this program, but if you have to, then it would be unspecified because of the content in the remarks of what the contract is going to carry them to. Next question from Sergeant King. How will we know if we're selected under SRB and how far out can we sign an indefinite reenlistment contract? Okay, 2-part question. So for SRB eligibility, if you're on a CSP contract and your AFC comes on the list as authorized a bonus, you'll get a notification from AFBC of bonus and you'll have to accept or decline the bonus. That'll be done via MyPERS, and that can be done typically 30 days out. If you're currently re-enlisting and you're re-enlisting into the CSP program, then the bonus is calculated and determined on the 901 like we do today. The indefinite contract can be signed typically as we do today, which is basically 90 days prior to ETS, or if you have a service-directed reason, it can be done prior to that.
Some more Facebook questions. Jackie Moore asks, can you extend with the 24-month extensions to get to 20 years?
Yes, you can. So AFI 362606, which came out in September of this year, allows career airmen a one-time 24-month extension for personal reasons. So if an airman is at 18 years and have not executed that extension, they may then do it at that time and it will take them to the 20. Please keep in mind that that extension may not take you all the way as you retire the first day of the following month. So sometimes that may not work. It's going to be on a case-by-case depending on the current data separation if your data separation does not take you to the end of that month. A couple of questions here from DCS side. Tech Sergeant Segara, I'm at 12 years, 6 years of service. My contract ends in April 2020. Do I need to do anything? Do I still need to reenlist one final time? Yes, you will need to reenlist again prior to April 2020. So please contact your career development office. You can do that anytime, probably starting January, and they can get you projected into reenlist, and that will be your last contract that you'll have to execute. Next question from Airman Little. For the SRB on 901, how many years will we put on for the number of years the airman will be paid for? That's outlined again in the PSD guide to the career development sections. The airman will select 3, 4, 5, or 6. Please also keep in mind if they're currently receiving a bonus and that contract has not been completed, the basic obligated service rules will apply and can limit the number of years of bonus. Basically, you cannot double dip and get a bonus for the same time in a previous zone with a new zone.
Another Facebook question. Amber Blake asks, does admin action, LOR, UIF, etc. have any effect on this program?
It can have some effect or impact on the program. If the LOA or other factors come into play, it can prevent or be the deciding factor for a commander to non-recommend a re-enlistment. It also could be used as part of a total package for other actions for denial of continued service. So yes, it can have an impact when you combine that with other issues and actions that's going on. The commander may use that as part of his or her package.
Kevin McKeever asks, if you re-enlist in the NCO Career Status Program, will there be service commitments to take certain assignments, or is it strictly just a re-enlistment until higher tenure?
It's basically a re-enlistment to your higher tenure or you're projected based on any projections or promotions. You'll also have service commitments. So if you picked up an assignment, which is a 2-year stateside to stateside, then you would have a 24-month active duty service commitment on your record as well. So your active duty service commitments, very much the way we manage the officer corps today is how this program is going to work. So that's going to be where the Air Force would probably deny or could deny a application for separation or retirement prior to the completion of the active duty service commitment. Question from Sergeant Cook. For members who have completed a CSP reenlistment, how would future commanders be able to deny retainability? That is going to be under the denied continued service process, 418. Same process rules apply. Commander completes 418, airman acknowledges it, and may appeal that decision. If the appeal is upheld, then the airman is no longer denied and continue to serve and promotion eligible. If the appeal is denied, then of course that airman would no longer be promotion eligible and would stay to the current higher tenure. The commander could also take further action such as admin discharge or whatever they see fit, what's in their toolkit to use for disciplinary and separation actions. Next question from Sergeant Sigmund. Is the reenlistment mandatory for NCO Career Status Program? Yes, it is. If the reenlistment occurs on or after 18 November and you have at least 12 years of service, you must reenlist into the NCO career status program if you're reenlisting.
Another Facebook question. Jay Coons asked, my current enlistment will take me to 20 years. I'm currently at 18 years. I was planning to extend in order to transfer my Montgomery GI Bill benefits to my kids. Can I enroll in the system now rather than wait for 2 years until my current enlistment is up?
Jay, you can apply for your transfer of benefits now. That will require for your active duty service commitment. So if you did that now and reenlisted on or after 18 November, that would be an indefinite contract if you have at least 12 years of service. Please log on to MyPERS and click into the application. It'll give you more details on the TEB transfer and the retainability requirement. So you can use the TEB to do that now, as that is a retainability requirement. Okay.
Another Facebook question. Kenny asks, if we transfer the GI Bill benefits, will we be required to reenlist in the career status program to incur that active duty service commitment? And how does that affect the SRB?
Kenny, yes, if you're transferring your GI Bill and you need additional retainability, you still can extend, of course, if you are able to do so. If not, and you have to reenlist, then it will be a CSP reenlistment, a career status program reenlistment. It does not impact the bonus. If you're authorized a bonus today, you will still be authorized a bonus under the CSP program. So really want to reiterate that the bonuses are not impacted under this program. So if your FSC is on the list, you meet the eligibility as in duty and control FSC, and you're in the appropriate zone, then your bonus is still applicable and you're able to receive it. Please keep in mind, one zone, one bonus though. Thank you. Next question from Brian Reed at the 14th. How does a commander initiate denial of continued service? That is initiated as we do today on the Air Force Form 418. The Air Force is in the process, and you should see that here next couple of months, changing the name of the 418 to include the denial of service process. So it will be done on the Air Force Form 418 as we do a denied reenlistment today. Question from Jody. Jody King, based on what you mentioned, does the indefinite reenlistment tie directly with promotion eligibility? No, it does not. If you're in a career status program and you're eligible for promotion, then you're good. You may not be eligible due to other factors, but it's not tied to the indefinite reenlistment itself. Your commander may take other options to make you promotion ineligible based off other factors, but it's not directly tied to your promotion eligibility. But if you are denied continued service or denied reenlistment, then yes, it definitely ties to promotion eligibility. Next question from Aaron Marks. Is there a new DD Form 4 document we'll use? Yes. So the Air Force, if you haven't noticed, announced on 30 October, a new DD Form 4AF that we rolled out. That form is mandatory effective 18 November. It'll be documented there. The form is sort of automated a bit to assist the career development and processing reenlistments cleaner and easier. And so the new DD Form 4AF will be the form that you should be conducting reenlistments on effective 18 November and beyond.
Another Facebook question. Cynthia Colabucci asks, how does this affect SRBs?
This program doesn't affect SRBs at all. If you're eligible for an SRB at the time of executing a CSP contract, then the bonus is documented on the 901 as we do today. If you're in the CSP program and you become eligible for a bonus later, then you'll get a notice from FPC of your eligibility, and you'll do it there. It's quick, easy, and simple. Quick notification. You accept the active duty service amendment for the number of years you want to get a bonus for. Bonus calculations are still calculated the same, which is your service agreement, your years of service time to multiplier. It'll then go to your commander for approval, and then back to AFPC, and then we'll get you paid.
John Reilly asks, I have 11 months prior to my DOS. I need to re-enlist to be eligible for an assignment selection. How does this new process affect me at 12 years? Do I still need to conduct a re-enlistment?
John, yes, you will still need to conduct a re-enlistment, even if you're less than 12 years when you re-enlist for the assignment. You'll have to get retainability by either re-enlisting or extending. If by chance you're at 12 or more at the time when you re-enlist, then that'll be your last re-enlistment contract, which is going to save you a lot of time in the future.
April Sheetler asks, for those that opt into the program, how will the expiration date in the DEAR system for service members and dependents reflect?
The DARE system is not necessarily impacted by this at all. Very similar to what we do today for officers. The CAT card will expire, I believe, currently at the max 3 years. So that is not going to change at all for you. Next question here from Master Sergeant Rivera. How will bonuses work on this program? They work as they do today, basically on the list that's published on MyPERS, that's approved and put out by Air Force A1. That's how that's going to work. No change. Same listing that's published, same zones, and whatever multipliers that's listed as approved for that AFSC by A1. Question from Sergeant Keeley. How does this affect manning? It does not. In AFCs that's overmanned, the Air Force may continue to roll out other programs such as NCO retraining program. Those programs are still available, but it does not necessarily impact manning at all in a AFSC. If AFC is overmanned, then of course Air Force looks at other ways of balancing those career fields out by either offering bonuses into other career fields to entice you to retrain, or the NCO career status NCO retraining program may come online for that. Next one from Tech Sergeant, oh goodness, Shulantalia. If you just extend it and exactly at 12, do you have to re-enlist in CSP? Yes, so any extensions that you've previously done, to include any re-enlistments that you've executed, remain valid under this program. So when that extension is executed and that data separation from the extension comes forward, you'll then re-enlist under the career status program. CSP will not be a reason to cancel any current re-enlistment or current extensions on file. Next question from Sergeant Wright. Is obligated service months entered on the new DD Form 4 for unspecified? No, they're not. If you look in the guidance put out to the field, there's no obligated service months on the unspecified contract. It's just unspecified.
More Facebook questions. David Thompson asks, for 7-day and 3-day option, will the lack of action by the airman during the 7-day and 3-day option automatically incur the active duty service commitment as we handle officers today?
David, yes, I do believe the intent of that program here is the way we manage officers for the ADSCs for the bonus, for the assignments will play out under the CSP program.
Michaela Bailey asks, in regards to post 9/11, what will the process now be for transferring benefits? Will members still need retainability?
Yes, so if you have executed the post 9/11 GI Bill and you need additional retainability and you're over 12 years of service, then you may extend if eligible. If not, then you re-enlist. You'll re-enlist under the career status program, and that again will be your last contract taking out to 20 years and beyond. A couple questions from here. Sergeant Cook, will sanctuary rules apply under CSP? Yes, 18 to 20 is sanctuary. So if you're at 18, the Air Force is going to carry you to 20 unless discharged under other reasons. So it is not impacted under this program. Question from Sergeant Whiteside about meal PDS being updated. Updates to meal PDS are outlined in the PSDM to the career development section. So if you look on your personnel side, if you have a indefinite contract, your data separation is going to be 8 August 3888.
More questions from Facebook. Paul Callahan asks, wait, so let's just say for whatever reason, someone at 15 years wants to get out. How does that work?
Well, hopefully at 15 years, you don't want to leave us. Hopefully we can convince you to stick around. But if not, we recognize that there are other things folks like to do. So you would apply. You need to make sure that you apply and give the Air Force at least 180-day notice before your effective date, no earlier than when you're out. Then once approved, then you'll separate on that date as requested.
Stephen and Kayla Duchette asks, will a Master Sergeant Select that sews on in December at 13 years time in service have to re-enlist or have to obtain an active duty service commitment? He also is eligible for a SRB before he hits 14 years. What's the best way to maximize his SRB as a Master Sergeant?
Okay, so a lot of issues there. So let's take these one at a time. So if you're sewn on Master in December at 13 years of service, you will require, I believe, 2 years of ADSC. You can re-enlist, and if you do, and you have at least 12 years of service, then you'll be re-enlisting under the Career Status Program, which is an indefinite contract. And you'll serve the standard ADSC for that promotion stripe. If you're eligible for a bonus and you're re-enlisting and you're in that zone, looks like probably zone C, 10 to 14, the best way to maximize your bonus is look at what you currently have. Are you on a bonus? If not, then you can select the 6 years. Please keep in mind that when you do the calculations, when you make the determination 3, 4, 5 year obligated service commitment, that it will cap at $100,000 per zone.
Jackie Moore asks, if a member is already re-enlisted under the Career Status Program and gets an assignment, but then receives a control roster or Article 15, which then cancels the assignment, will the member be able to stay in or then have to apply for separation since they cannot take the assignment?
Jackie, no, they will not have to apply for separation just because of the Article 15 or control roster actions. If they choose to, they may apply, but you do not have to apply just because of that Article 15 or control roster action. A couple of questions here. Next one is from Sergeant Silva. Once the CSP program goes into effect, will members have to wait until 90 days to re-enlist? Yes. So in order to re-enlist, the re-enlistment rules have not changed. You must be within 90 days of your ETS or have a service-directed reason. Next question from Sergeant King. Will this affect NCO retraining program? No, it does not. For those FSCs identified for retraining, that program marches on as it is currently laid out. If you are re-enlisting for retainability, if you're selected for retraining or whatever under that program, then it could be your last re-enlistment contract under the indefinite process. Next question from Carlton Vincent. If a member is eligible for a bonus, do they have to apply for it, or does it update automatically? If you're re-enlisting, okay, and you're authorized a bonus, the bonus is documented on the 901 just as we do today. The re-enlistee will select the obligated service that they're going to take 3, 4, 5, or 6 years, depending on any current bonus contracts that they're on. So it's not automatic. If you're currently serving in CSP and later become eligible for a bonus, then you may be eligible to, you are eligible for the bonus and AFPC will notify you and then you'll accept the bonus that way.
More Facebook questions. Kevin McKeever asks, so I'm at 7 years right now. Will this still be an option when I get to 12 years?
Kevin, yes, it will be. This program will run until the Air Force announces a change. Don't see that coming in the near future. So this program should be available for you when you hit 12 years of service.
David Thompson asks, follow up for re-enlistment. If airman is in CSP contract and denied re-enlistment, will they be ineligible for assignment? And are we creating a homesteading effect for a very small percentage of airmen?
So David, if you're in a CSP contract, you're denied continued service, okay? So denied continued service, you're still eligible for any assignment deployment that you have retainability for up to your higher tenure. It does not necessarily create a homesteading effect for a small percentage of those airmen.
Carol Jr. asks, I am currently AGR in the reserve and have 14 total service and 11 active duty. I was approved and will be going back to active duty the beginning of 2020. Will I automatically fall into the program once I re-enlist for 4 or 6 years?
Okay, Carol, so if you are coming on to the program, then you're going to be coming on to from the accession side. So they're going to enlist you for a certain period of time, probably 4 or 6 years. At the end of that contract, you will then re-enlist into the career status program. A question here from Sergeant Wagner. Will members that re-enlist to CSP be able to sell leave? Yes, you're authorized to sell leave in conjunction with your re-enlistment at the time of CSP. Tech Sergeant Marquez question is about post 9/11 GI Bill. If I re-enlist in CSP, does it count towards the 4-year commitment? If you re-enlist at the same time that you apply for your transfer, then yes, you will meet the 4-year ADSC for that program. If you're already on a CSP contract and apply for your post 9/11 GI Bill, once you sign a statement of understanding, they will approve you for the GI Bill, and you'll have a 4-year active duty service commitment at that time for the post 9/11 GI Bill.
Another Facebook question. Ronald Irvin Wagner asks, I got kicked off the stream before I was able to ask my question. My current enlistment will take me to just short of 20 years. If I just want to extend, not re-enlist, what would be a 2-month time frame to be able to retire at my earliest eligibility? Would that still be allowed?
Ron Wagner, yes. So if you are just looking to get to the 20, once you apply for retirement, retirement is going to basically let you know that you don't have sufficient retainability to get to the date requested. You will need to extend to get to that date. Please keep in mind, you are limited for 8 months of extensions. Not sure how many extensions you've already used for your current enlistment, but if you have not and you need only 2, then you'll be able to extend to get to the 2 months of retainability and then complete your final retirement application process.
Paul Nardini asks, just to be clear, the new NCO CSP replaces the 4 or 6-year enlistments. So anyone after 18 November 19 who has 12 plus years and needs to re-enlist must do it under the CSP. Is that correct?
Good question, Paul, and you are very correct. So it does replace the 4 or 6-year traditional contracts that we do. So anyone re-enlisting on or after 18 November who has at least 12 years of service will re-enlist under CSP. Next question here from Bill Warfeld. Is there a minimum time to serve before applying for separation after re-enlisting to the program? No, there is not. Once you re-enlist the program, you serve until you apply for separation or retirement. Please keep in mind that if there are any ADSCs involved, you will probably need to serve those out too. So that will have some impact on the minimum time that you will serve under that contract as well.
Another Facebook question. Trinity Ruth asks, any idea when this will roll out on the reserve side?
Unfortunately, I don't have that information. The law for this program only applied to RegAF. I do believe our sister components are looking at other portions of the law or laws that may allow them to run into this program or implement a similar program. Question from Staff Sergeant Peck. If you have to re-enlist for a minimum of 3 years to qualify for a bonus, but the airman only requires 2-year ADC and are re-enlisted under CSP, are they eligible for the bonus? Yes, you are eligible for the bonus. Okay, so if you're re-enlisting, please keep in mind that it is a indefinite re-enlistment. So you will pick the number of years, 3, 4, 5, or 6 that you'll take the bonus for, but you'll only be coded for a 2-year ADSC at the time. If your bonus is in Zone E, also remember that you're going to get an ADSC for that bonus as well. So you can do 3 years, even though you only need a 2-year ADSC. Next question from Sergeant Cook. So will commanders be able to do an officer form 418 at any time under SRP, CSP? Sergeant Cook, yes. Commanders' ability to deny re-enlistment did not change under this program. They can do a 418 at any time to deny you continued service or to deny you re-enlistment, which would be also for re-enlistment into the CSP program. Next question from Sergeant Daniels. If one accepts senior NCO promotion but short by 1 month of the 24 months required, can one re-enlist into the CSP? Yes, so if you have a promotion and you need additional retainability, so that stripe bond, that is a service-directed requirement, and you can then re-enlist for that reason, and that will take you out to your final contract. So if you need additional retainability for that stripe, yes, you can re-enlist for the indefinite period of time.
Some more Facebook questions. Emily Johnson asks, I have a member who is currently working an extension to reach their HYT so they can reach their 20 years. Would it be easier to continue to process the extension or just have them enroll in this program?
Ryan, that's something I would definitely talk to the applicant about, whether or not they want to proceed with the extension, provided they have not completed the 1411. If they want to, they may choose to execute a re-enlistment if they're eligible and within the 90 days or have a service director reason. Also, please keep in mind that the number of extensions that they may have and what their intentions are beyond that, that process. It may be best for them to do the indefinite contract. Promotion may come up in the future, things of that nature. So that could impact your extension, which would then make you do an indefinite contract. So indefinite contract at this time could be your better bet.
Ryan Miller asks, can you still extend or will you be forced to re-enlist?
Ryan, yes, you're able to extend. Please keep in mind that the 48 months still apply. If the retainability event can be met via an extension, you may do so. If not, then you will be forced into a re-enlistment just as we do today.
Paul Nardini asks, are folks still able to receive tax-free bonus if they are downrange? Does it depend on your current location when you apply for the bonus under the CSP?
If you're downrange and you're re-enlisting under the CSP program, your bonus is also tax-free at the time. So your combat zone tax exclusion is going to be your deciding factor based off the date of your re-enlistment. So if I am in a tax-free zone and re-enlist, I am good tax-free for that entire month. So you would be good to go for that. A question from Christina Campana. If a 13-year staff sergeant re-enlists in CSP, is there any way to separate the member without start an admin discharge? The airman, of course, can always apply for separation. There are other ways. Yes, the commander can process admin discharge actions or any other actions that they can see fit and can apply based off of legal guidance for that member. Joshua Kuchner, going to clarify for you, ADSCs are not automatic. They're automatic if you take a commitment for something, and CSP is also not automatic. So if you're ending a contract or re-enlisting with 12 or more years, it'll be a CSP re-enlistment. No one automatically gets transferred over into the CSP program. So if my date of separation, if I re-enlisted yesterday, today, or whatever, prior to 18 November, that contract as it is remains firm. You would then re-enlist into the CSP program at the expiration of that contract.
Another Facebook question. Nate Elman asks, can you explain how the 3 or 7 day option would work under CSP?
Nate, I think you're talking about an assignment in 365 deployment, there are several subsets of rules that kick in when you look at the 3-day and 7-day option, depending on if you're over 20, if you're less than 20, what's your current ADSC. So that is one of those programs where you have to look at individual issues and circumstances and apply those. I have your name here. We can do some researching and I can reach back out to you for that, okay?
Courtney Link Del Monte asks, if someone enlists under CSP, then desires to separate prior to their HYT and has no ADSC, can they elect to separate at any time?
Yes, provided that, remember, the notification that you must make no earlier than 12 months, no later than 180 days. So if you're looking to separate after reenlisting, then you need to plan accordingly so you can get your application in for separation that meets that program criteria. Question here from Sergeant Cook. This program does not eliminate the CGR program. Please keep in mind the CGR program is a first-term airman program. So they would not be impacted at all under the CSP program.
Another Facebook question. Jake Carb Newton asks, if your current contract takes you to exactly 12 years, will I have to reenlist into the CSP?
Yes, so if you have at least 12 years when you reenlist, when your day of separation expires, and you don't have a reason to extend under the AFI, then you'll be reenlisting under the CSP program. Question from Carlton Vincent. Do we still use the previous DD Form 4AF for members who are not at 12? Yes, so the DD Form 4AF is the contract that's used for all reenlistments regardless of CSP or non-CSP. Question from Sergeant Rivera. Will members only receive one SOB upon reenlistment for the new program, or airmen have the opportunity to receive multiple bonuses within CSP? So let me answer that question first. You only get one bonus per zone. So if I'm reenlisting and I'm reenlisting into the CSP program, for example, at 14 years, then I'll take the Zone C bonus on the 901 at that time. If I later become eligible for a bonus in Zone E at 18 to 20 years, I'm also still eligible for that Zone E bonus, and that'll be documented on the bonus agreement. You'll get a notification from AFPC of that. Your question about receiving multiple bonuses, just want to make sure we understand that when we speak of multiple bonuses, it's not multiple bonuses in the same zone, but you can get bonuses across all 4 zones. So if I'm in the CSP contract, your second part of the question, since you're not re-enlisting, you're eligible for that second bonus in the next zone, and you'll get a notification of your eligibility basically 30 days prior to meeting that zone. So again, using an example, if I did a Zone C traditional contract, which was also my last indefinite contract, I got paid my Zone C on that one. I served that time. At 18 years, you're coming up, your AFC on the list. 30 days prior to your 18-year point, you'll get a notice of bonus eligibility. And at that time, you'll be allowed to accept the bonus and the active duty service commitment for that. So it does not impact the bonus for that side of the house. Next question here from Joshua. What are the downsides to this new program? None. This program is designed to give time back to airmen in the field, stop them from having to run around, leaving their workstations to do contracts every 2 to 3 years. It is a program designed just to recognize career folks and let them know, hey, we understand. We don't need a contract from you every 2 to 3 years to show your commitment. And so this program really is something that puts you guys first out there in the field, and then puts you in the driver's seat to serve as long as you see fit, and hopefully up to 20 years and beyond.
Well, Mr. McLaughlin, maybe 1 or 2 more questions, sir?
Sure.
Okay, so this is from Facebook. Manuel Franco asked, if I deny an assignment after enrolling in the NCO Career Status Program, do I have to separate or can I stay at my current duty station until I retire?
Okay, so if you decline the active duty service commitment, I'm assuming that you're on a NCO career status program. Yes, certain things are going to kick in. It depends on where you're at. Do you have 18 or more? Do you have any ADSCs that's going to already meet the ADSC for that current assignment? Again, there are several subsets of rules that's going to kick in when you talk about that on the assignment side of the house. And we always stress on the assignment piece, you should get counseling before deciding what you're going to do on the ADSC. Manuel, I can take your name down as well and look into your question and get into the specifics for you via email.
Last Facebook question. I'm supposed to reenlist today, and my CSS told me I would be under the CSP, but it sounds like this won't go into effect until the 18th.
Ken, that is correct. So it depends on what your reenlistment effective date is. So if you're reenlisting today on the 14th of November, then it would not be a CSP contract. It'll be a traditional contract. If it's on or after the 18th, then it would be a CSP contract. So depending on where you're at, I don't know if there's any bonus issues involved or if your date of separation is like today or tomorrow, but you may want to go back to your MPF and look at that. If you can delay and you want to delay and reenlist on the 18th for indefinite, that's your option to do that.
I'd like to thank the Air Force Reenlistments Office. I want to thank Mr. Mike McLaughlin. We're going to be doing another webcast later on today, 16:30 Central, 17:30 Eastern Time. Many thanks for joining us. Have a great day.